Hello, everybody, and welcome to our workshop. So I'm Maya, founding engineer at 14AI.
Hey everyone, I'm Nivedha. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Pageloop.
Hello, I'm Marie, co-founder of 14AI, and welcome everyone.
And today we're excited to present our workshop, Building Advanced AI Knowledge Bases, Structure, Scale, and Strategy. So today you're going to learn how to design smarter support content and structure your knowledge base for fast-moving teams using AI agents. And before we get started with the agenda, feel free to share in the chat where you're calling from and what your favorite fruit is.
Great. And Nivedha, where are you calling from and what's your favorite fruit?
You know, the last time we did this, I was in SF in your office. Right now I'm in Bangalore, India, so it's about 9:30 p.m. here. My
And what
favorite fruit has to be mango. Oh my God. Yeah.
and you, Maya?
I'm calling from San Francisco, and my favorite fruit, I would have to say strawberry. How about you?
I will say my favorite fruit is banana, and also from San Francisco.
Awesome. So for today's agenda, first we're going to discuss why knowledge bases matter more than ever. So how AI native knowledge bases can reduce hallucinations and scale support operations. And then we're going to talk about the components of what makes a strong AI knowledge base. And then we're going to touch a little bit on managing tiered and multi-product content. And then we're going to share some practical takeaways. And then we're going to close out the session with a live Q&A with Nivedha. So we're going to learn about real world lessons from building and scaling Pageloop's knowledge infrastructure. So why do knowledge bases matter now more than ever? So AI agents need solid ground. So support tools rely on grounded, structured content to avoid hallucinations and provide accurate answers. If you have stale content, that can lead to poor outcomes. So outdated or unclear knowledge bases can lead to inaccurate AI responses and can cause repeated escalation. And then they're a dual purpose resource. So a well-designed knowledge base simultaneously serves your customers through self-service and can also empower your support team. So what makes a strong AI native knowledge base? So first, it's tightly synced with product development. So uh, it's really important to collaborate closely with the product team and update the knowledge base as features enter the QA stage. So it's important to build advocacy or use automations to track what's shipping and what's up to date. It's also important to have timeless language. So avoiding words like now or recently that can mislead LLMs. So write documentation as if it could live forever. And a tip from Nivedha is to exclude change logs from AI-facing sources. Also, it's important to have deep audits and ongoing maintenance. So investing in a full audit to clean up outdated, duplicated, or unclear content is a very good decision. And pairing that with regular update cycles tied to product releases can also really help keep your knowledge base up to date. Also, a strong AI native knowledge base is hyperlinked and interconnected. So it's important, to use internal links generously. These can not only improve SEO, but they can help readers navigate complex topics, and they can also give LLMs stronger grounding. And of course, structured for retrieval, so writing concisely with explicit instructions and examples that minimize ambiguity in your knowledge base. So let's talk a little bit about managing multi-tiered and multi-product content. So your knowledge base, you can think about it as this iceberg here with all these different levels. So you have customer-facing content, there's the internal knowledge base, there's also, you can also have segmentation between enterprise and SMB, feature flag controls, and also retrieval and filtering logic. So in terms of customer segmentation, you can break it down by enterprise and SMB. So there might be different workflows, expectations, and support levels for these segmentations. And then you can have internal only versus customer facing. So for that, it's important to control access and retrieval scope. And then also in terms of technical controls, so you can segment by feature flags, user roles, or pricing plans. And then also tools like LLMs, TXT, and retrieval filters can help agents get the right content quickly. What are some practical takeaways that you can do to start improving your KB this week? So the good news is that there are some actions that you can start today or this week, and these can significantly improve your knowledge base with minimal time investment. So something you can do is rewrite one high impact article in a Q&A format. So you can choose your most referenced article and restructure it as question and answer format to improve retrievability. You can also review and clean up your top level categories. So ensure that your primary navigation makes intuitive sense to both customers and support agents. And then also, identify gaps by analyzing your most recent support tickets. What are customers actually asking, and what issues are they dealing with? So something you can do is export data from the last 3 months to find recurring issues that are missing from your knowledge base. So doing a little audit on that. You can also add agent-only internal notes when needed, so including private annotations for complex issues to help agents handle edge cases and exceptions. And then excluding irrelevant folders using LLM's TXT, so preventing AI hallucinations by explicitly directing retrieval away from outdated folders. Handing it off to Nivedha to talk a little bit about Pageloop.
I was on mute as usual. Thank you, Maya. Yeah, so we've been building Pageloop for about 8 months now. Wow, we started in Jan, and the idea behind starting Pageloop was I've been in support for a decade. A lot of what I saw there are the learnings that I brought into building Pageloop, and the primary goal of Pageloop is with AI coming in and software development becoming so rapid, and when there are so many features that people are building, of course customers are also going to be asking more questions. Support volumes are going to go higher and higher, which is why 14 AI kind of tools exist. And we work adjacent, or we make those kind of tools really, really powerful by keeping your knowledge updated. So that's what Pageloop does.
Thank you. We're going to learn more about it now that we have a Q&A session. So now we're going to transition to a live conversation on all aspects of KB strategy, implementation, AI KBs. And of course, if you have any additional questions that you'd like to ask Nivedha, then make sure to add them in the chat and we will get to them during the Q&A.
So our first question for you, Nivedha, is what inspired you to start Pageloop, and what gap in the market were you aiming to address?
Yeah, I'll start with the honest bit, which is, when I think as every founder goes through, I went through so many different ideas. The only thing I made sure was I was sticking to the support realm of things. And there was a lot of development happening with AI in support, specifically when it all started, back in end of 2022. And the inspiration, honestly, was first AI. And then as I started seeing customer support really starting to embrace a lot of AI, that's when the cracks started showing up, which is, AI relies on a consistent and a solid source of truth. And if that's not there, then customers are super frustrated. Like, sure, I'm getting a response at someone's 2 a.m., through a bot, but it's still giving me really wrong answers and I'm still stuck. So that frustration that I started seeing grow in the market was what led us to start Pageloop, to really build a very strong foundation and to not lose ourselves with what we've all built as support as a function for so many decades, and that was kind of crumbling with AI coming in for a brief period. It's only getting better now, and that was a specific gap that we wanted to address, which is how do we still ensure accurate, fast responses, whether it's AI for agent assist or AI that directly interacts with customers.
I love it.
Mhm.
So our next question is about AI and documentation. So how does Pageloop leverage AI to transform the way that companies maintain their knowledge bases and support documentation?
Yeah, so there are multiple components to a knowledge base. One is, previously documentation used to be fully text heavy. Now we also have visuals. You have, your videos or your GIFs and your screenshots. And so we use a lot of multimodal LLMs in our pipeline. For each specific activity, we use a very, very specialized, AI model that does that job really well. So initially, we started with something called RAG, which is Retrieval Augmented Generation. I know it sounds whatever complex. If you've not heard that before, don't worry. It basically just means that you throw a whole bunch of documentation at AI and ask it to generate answers. Now, how we've transformed from there is to start building agents. So I know this word is thrown around quite a lot, but what that basically means is for every specialized task, like for creating an article, for identifying outdated screenshots, for identifying outdated parts of your text. Those are like specific activities that we've built agents for. So the way Pageloop is leveraging AI to transform knowledge base maintenance is for companies to have access to all of these agents based on what they want to do. So if there's a new feature that has never had any documentation, what you will use are create article agent, which will basically look at your product, you click through your product and it's able to create an article, but it also uses the context of your entire knowledge base. Now, a frequent question that I get on a lot of my demos is, okay, why can't I do this using ChatGPT? And the simple answer is that it doesn't have the entire context of your knowledge base. I think context matters so much when it comes to AI for it to do its best work. Similarly, when it comes to updating content, where maybe you have like a feature, the name has changed, which means it needs to now find every single part of your documentation where it's referring to the old name of a feature for it to be updated. Now, sometimes it's not a simple find and replace. It's much more complex than that. It could be a pricing change where you've mentioned a feature being available in a certain plan and not available in a certain plan, and that's changed. So those are ways in which we help companies maintain their knowledge base, specifically companies who are using AI in different ways for their customer support or for their internal sales enablement, sales co-pilot sort of use cases.
Amazing. And we have a question from the audience. What are some good measures to prevent bloat when building a knowledge base?
Oh, good question. I have a bit of a contrarian view now, because as long as information on your knowledge base is accurate, I don't think there's anything called bloat, because as long as your information is mutually exclusive, which means you don't have duplicate articles with slightly differing or conflicting information or outdated information, as much as you can add to your knowledge base, the better it is. Like, we've kind of stopped navigating knowledge bases manually. We all use search. There is always a chatbot around a knowledge base today. So bloat is something that is only in the background, but on the foreground for the customer. As much as information is available, that much richer their answers will be.
Amazing.
Thank you. So our next question is about building a high impact knowledge base. So based on your experience, what are the key ingredients for creating a knowledge base that truly serves customers and support agents alike?
Yeah, I would say the first one, and there may be some overlaps, but the first one is to really have a tight-knit loop with your product team. And when you talk about high impact knowledge base, I think it also helps to define what is the impact you're looking for from that. And in every way you see it, it all comes down to having a really tight knit loop with your product team, because it all comes down to that. They're shipping really fast. If you want to make sure that your customers are able to truly self-serve, your support folks or your any customer facing folks are able to very quickly query your knowledge base to get an answer. I think those are things that build a high impact knowledge base. So the first one is having tight knit loop with your product team. Second is to document everything, every small interaction in your product. If you're able to document it, that makes the knowledge base that much richer, like I said just in the previous answer. Now that's where the concept of bloat no longer exists. So if you're able to create like really short, even if it's like a few sentences long of an article about a small feature, please document it. I think previously how we used to, or how I used to like update knowledge bases in the past is I would see, or the team would see like recurring questions coming up and they'd be like, I've seen this a few times. And then we'd go like retrospectively update or create an article for it. At the same time today, I think the pace at which we're moving, products are evolving. It's really, really difficult to wait for hundreds of support tickets to land before you write an article. It's already a little too late at that point. So the second one is to document every single thing possible. And third is to enable support agents to also understand the language of their customers and to make edits to your knowledge base. Ultimately, customers are asking questions in a certain way. Like we all have a lot of context about the product or the company where we're working at. Our customers don't have that much context. So the way we might explain a feature and the way a customer might ask about that feature will be quite different. So when you're noticing stuff like that, like use your support ticket data. That's such rich data available for you to like understand how to write those articles in a way that when a customer queries your knowledge base, they're able to get that answer back. I can summarize. The first one is having a tight net loop with your product team. Second is to document every single feature possible, not wait for hundreds of tickets to accumulate. And third is to mimic your users' language as much as possible in your knowledge base.
Thank you.
Great. Next question. In your opinion, what common mistakes do companies make when designing their customer support knowledge management systems?
Yeah, it's a very, very good question. I do see a few different ones today. I think in the past it was different. Again, today the way documentation is done is rapidly evolving. I'll give a little bit of context before I come straight to the pitfalls. What we're seeing out in the market is docs teams are becoming a lot more strategic. They are getting aligned towards the growth teams inside companies, because that's where things are getting shipped really fast, and they want docs to be very, very close to those type of teams. Now I say, if you're shipping fast and you're growing and you're in your growth stage and you don't have your docs team in a function that's driving that growth engine, that's probably your first pitfall. That's where things will sort of start to crumble. Now, why is it that it's such a big pitfall? One is when you're shipping super fast, product managers or devs are moving from one feature to another. They're not really waiting. They're not really like, they don't have the time to sit in, tell people, hey, this is what it has released. Now, what that leads to is, one, obviously your docs are not going to be updated as quickly. Two, your customer facing teams are not getting the information at the right time to know, okay, what are the features that got shipped? Like they have no idea. So I'd say that's the first pitfall, which is to figure out within your org very specifically where should docs be. And if it's maintained by a support team, then to have very clear processes around the person who is partly owning your docs is very well connected or has all the support systems needed for them to interact with the product team on a very, very regular basis. Second pitfall, I would say, is lack of reviews from product managers now, or whoever is building the features. Now, it could be Marie, who is building 14 AI, and the pitfall there is, as a PM, you have done a lot of work to research why a particular feature needs to be built. Now you have a lot of context. So does a support team. So does every single customer-facing team. And the pitfall here is when there are not enough reviews being done for a large feature, you are missing out context on a lot of use cases that a customer might use that feature for. If you're also not documenting at least some of those top use cases, you're not able to contextually answer to that customer's question. So if someone's using a calendar product and you've written a whole article about scheduling, but you've not really talked about what are some use cases where you would do it, your AI is only going to answer to that extent. So the second pitfall is not having enough reviews from the key stakeholders who were part of building that particular feature. The third one, which is a little harder, people might not find it very exciting to spend time on, is to really think through the architecture of your knowledge base. You can use as much AI, you can use products like Pageloop to keep it updated, but if you don't have a good architecture that can have your articles being plugged into different like categories, that's the kind of bloat we don't want. We don't want articles sitting in random categories without any structure. That confuses humans, and because LLMs and AI are built on human, language, or especially English, but that bad structure will also follow onto the AI as well. So the third pitfall would be not thinking through an architecture for your knowledge base that's going to scale. So whether it's if you have a multi-product company, you have multiple products that you have built, you want to structure your knowledge base around those multiple products. If you have a single product and really, really deep features, then you want to structure based on that.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So next question is staying up to date. So what advice do you have for companies struggling with keeping their product documentation up to date and useful for customers?
Yeah. No, this is a very, very hard one. And it's not just AI, right? It's pre-AI. It's been a long battle when it comes to keeping documentation up to date. I'd say if you're struggling with this, the good part of having this problem in 2025 is even using a free tool like ChatGPT can take you really, really far. And use build prompts using ChatGPT to help you with that. Now that's just one like very general advice. What I would really focus on is figuring out what is that bottleneck. Is it that you don't have enough hands, enough time, or are you not being told what's being shipped so you're able to write the documentation or update it on time? Really finding what the source of that pain or the struggle is the first thing that I would do. And I guess the other part, which is very, very tough, but has to be done, is tighten it like product circle. Like I will keep saying this, for forever, but without that, it's going to be really, really difficult. If you don't know what's being shipped, then it's really hard to keep track. One thing that I've seen some of our customers start to do now is to build small tools using AI to keep track of their linear or their Jira tickets that are being pushed to done, and just looking at those to figure out, hey, from these, are there any that are customer facing impact? So in fact, I myself wrote a prompt a few days back on ChatGPT, just exported all of my linear tickets, and I was like, okay, let's give this a shot and see like if it's able to figure out whether a particular feature is just some back end fix versus a customer facing impact. It was able to do a really fantastic job. So if you have access to your project management tools, get somebody to give you access to like just exporting it. Just literally throw the file into your ChatGPT and ask it to tell you in the last month what features were shipped that had customer impact. that will be a good starting point for you to also figure out, okay, if these were the features that were shipped, did I have to document something or was it already documented? The other part that I would highly recommend is to use your support data, or if you're doing support, or you just have sales calls, maybe you don't have a lot of support yet because you're still building your customer base, and you have a lot of sales calls where you are, or onboarding calls. Use the transcripts of those calls. Please take a note taker everywhere you're going. I use Granola. So even if it's an in-person customer implementation, have something like Granola on device that is recording the entire conversation. It's so easy to convert those conversations into a knowledge base article. So yeah, just to summarize, I think first you have to figure out what is making this a big struggle. Once you figure that out, these other things that I mentioned are things you can do alongside it. But to fix the core and the root of the issue is the most important.
Amazing.
Mm.
Last question. How do you see knowledge bases evolving in the customer support space over the next 3 to 5 years? And can I call you the mama of knowledge base?
Oh
That's a
gosh.
great question.
No, there are loads of people who are way more knowledgeable than me, but thank you. I appreciate that. Um, this is a very interesting question because when I started researching Pageloop as an idea last year, one question that I kept getting from every founder or every person user I was interviewing was, is knowledge base even going to be a thing in the future? And for a few months I was like, yeah, maybe not. Maybe knowledge base is just going to be like one search bar and nothing else. Like you actually can't navigate through articles anymore. And that's kind of what I was thinking of. But if you actually notice, even when we ask a question to ChatGPT and it quotes sources, we tend to go to that source. We all want a documented place to go verify whether what the AI is saying is right or not. So, in my opinion, knowledge bases are not going anywhere. In fact, they're getting more and more key and central to every company. I've seen loads of posts in the recent from several like scaled founders talking about one of the biggest mistakes they made was not documenting even internal knowledge for that matter, not just like customer support knowledge bases, but even internally, they're not documenting their internal processes, learnings from either winning a deal or losing a deal or being able to upsell. Those are like small things that nobody cared to really document. But those are things that become really big gold mine for us to tap into. So I see knowledge bases not just being here, but actually becoming more and more central to every single function in the company. Um, be it finance, be it hiring, be it product or engineering, everywhere it's going to be very critical. Because I think we're all convinced that AI is here to stay. It's not some fad that's going to like go away. It has actually like transformed and augmented a lot of our work, and that just goes to show that this is going to be the most important function that we build.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love this question.
Thank you. So looking ahead, so in today's workshop, we explored how to structure, maintain, and scale AI native knowledge bases that actually work, especially in fast shipping environments. And so now it's time for your practice. So you can take one high impact article to rewrite it in a Q&A format this week, and then ask yourself, can you simplify it? Can you categorize it better? Add context filters or internal notes? Start small and iterate fast. And then we're excited to announce our workshop next Tuesday at 12 p.m. Pacific. From Scrappy to Scalable, growing your support org from Series A to Series C. And we will be live from Las Vegas doing that one. So join us as we discuss best practices for testing, deploying, and monitoring agents in real world environments and scaling your support org. So if you found today helpful, you'll definitely want to join us next week. And last chance for asking some other questions. We'll be monitoring the chat. And then, as always, you can reach out, questions or feedback about your knowledge-based workflows. Contact us here, Nivedha at pageloop.ai and team at 14AI.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you again. I definitely love talking about this.
Thank you so much. It was great to have you.
Thank you.
Have a great day, everyone.